Hi, I'm Leslie Palma, Communications Director for Priests for Life, here with your Pro-Life Newsbreak for Friday, January 30th. It's customary for pro-lifers in Congress to take up legislation to protect the unborn around the January 22nd anniversary of the Roe v. Wade decision. This year was no exception. Last week, Republican Senator Ashley Moody of Florida introduced the Child Interstate Abortion Notification Act, which would prohibit adults from taking minors across state lines for an abortion. Also last week, the House passed the Supporting Pregnant and Parenting Women and Families Act to clarify that pregnancy resource centers are eligible to receive temporary assistance for needy families funding from the states. The House also passed the Pregnant Students' Rights Act, which would require colleges to provide students with a list of campus and community resources to help a mother carry her baby to term and care for the baby after birth. But the Pregnant Students Bill hit the brakes in the Senate when it did not meet the 60-vote threshold needed to proceed. Also in the Senate this week, Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith of Mississippi reintroduced legislation that would roll back FDA policies that expanded access to chemical abortion drugs. The Save Moms and Babies Act would require abortion drugs to be dispensed in person by a medical professional, ban distribution through the mail or via telemedicine, and strengthen reporting requirements for abortion-related complications. On the executive level, President Trump last week directed the expansion of the Pro-Life Mexico City policy, effectively ending U.S. taxpayer funding for organizations that perform or promote abortions overseas. And his administration ended federal funding for research involving the use of aborted baby parts and gave pharmacies the right not to stock deadly abortion drugs. In other news, a Missouri case examining the constitutionality of state laws protecting the unborn wrapped up a 10-day trial in Kansas City this week. Planned Parenthood challenged the laws after Missouri voters approved a constitutional amendment adding the right to abortion to the state constitution. The outcome of the trial will determine the accessibility of abortion across the state before Missourians are asked to vote in November on another amendment that would ban most abortions. A decision is not expected until spring or later, and in the meantime, Planned Parenthood is killing babies in surgical abortions, but chemical abortion is prohibited. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit against a Delaware-based nurse practitioner who runs an organization accused of shipping deadly abortion drugs into Texas in violation of state law. Paxton previously sued a New York abortionist for sending pills into the state, and she was ordered to pay a fine of $113,000. And Louisiana is pursuing charges against a California abortionist for allegedly sending pills into the pro-life state. 4 Arkansas women who said they were denied abortions for non-viable pregnancies, and a physician who said state laws are confusing, were in court this week to challenge those laws that protect most babies from abortion. Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin said the case seemed to have little legal merit and vowed to continue to defend the rights of the unborn. Just weeks after the Wyoming Supreme Court overturned state laws protecting the unborn, the Attorney General has asked the court to rehear the case. Jay Jurdy, the Special Assistant Attorney General who has defended 2 of the state's abortion laws for the last 3 years, said the justices made, quote, numerous mistakes or errors of law and failed to consider that an unborn baby has a fundamental right to life under the Wyoming Constitution. No word yet on whether the court will agree to hear the case. A bill that would allow anyone to sue over the illegal use of abortion drugs in Indiana was approved by the state Senate on Tuesday with a party line vote of 35-10. Senate Bill 236 would prohibit manufacturing, distributing, mailing, prescribing, or possessing abortion-inducing drugs, with the exception of the pregnant woman herself. The drugs would remain legal for miscarriage care and other non-abortion uses. Now the bill heads to the House for consideration. And finally, a new poll finds that most Americans oppose telehealth visits for women to receive chemical abortion pills. The Knights of Columbus Marist poll, released every January, found that a majority of Americans oppose taxpayer funding for abortion, and 67% oppose taxpayer funding for abortions overseas. Additionally, 63% support conscience rights for healthcare professionals, and 84% support the work of pro-life pregnancy centers. The poll also revealed that 59% of respondents think an in-person visit with a healthcare professional should be required before obtaining a chemical abortion. That's some of what's making news this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone stays safe and warm this weekend, and that you all will remember always that life is the only choice.
Hi, this is Janet Porter. Just giving a message to my good friend, Father Frank Pavone. I realize that I've been friends with Father Frank for almost 30 years. That's a long time to know someone and to be in the battle side by side with him. Even in the early days when we were working to pass the nation's first ban on partial birth abortion, when they were starving Terry Schiavo nearly 20 years ago, he was there where the battle was the hottest. And I remember when we first came up with the idea and God gave us the strategy for a heartbeat bill. one of the first people I called was Father Frank Pavone, and wouldn't you know it, his name went on the supporter list and was part of the effort to keep hearts beating. He's always been there. He's always been on the right side of the issue, and I'm just very, very grateful for him and his stalwart stand and he's an inspiration. I remember even at the CNP meetings, he would give a Catholic mass with a Baptist sermon. He never discounted the gospel, and he never lost sight of protecting those children in the womb. And I just want to encourage people that this is an incredible organization. They've done great good. As a former Lutheran, I can tell you that I back Priests for Life. It's just an organization that's making a difference, and I hope that you'll watch the programs and participate and putting your faith to action to keep hearts beating and to bring the killing to an end.
Follow him, Father Frank Pavone, Fr. Frank Pavone. He is the National Director of Priests for Life. Please go to priestsforlife.org.
Frank